Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the casual stream. Now, done it a little bit different. I wanted to introduce this. I was testing something out before I went live. However, I feel like even though this is something different, we still got to kick it off the right way. So, without further ado,
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone. But who better than me?
yeah, I felt it felt right. We needed the correct intro for this. Now, shout out to anyone who is joining. As I said on Tuesday, for anyone who wasn't here, this is a very, very casual moment. We're here to talk movies, TV shows, video games, sports entertainment, and anything else that people want to talk about. This is not a boxing heavy stream. There may be mentioned one or two things, but we're not here for that. We're here to talk about all the films that we've watched, all the series that we've watched, and everything else in between. What we liked, what we didn't like, recommendations for people to check out if they haven't seen it already. Because again, as I said, sometimes you just got to decompress from the boxing talks, the boxing circus, the media, the people not fighting each other, sometimes the great fights and the controversial scorecards and the no drug testing, all that stuff. We sometimes just need to get away from it for a little bit. So for anyone who is here for that, thank you very much for joining in. I was testing something. I didn't give myself enough time to check to see how it looks, but I need that back, and I need this color back where it was. Bear me one moment. Made a right mess of that one, didn't I? Alright, that would do. That looks alright. Okay, cool. Right, let's see what we've got in the building. A couple. I know I started a little bit late, and I'll tell you why I started late, because I was actually finishing the Penguin series. And where's Philip? I know Philip's here. Yeah, shout out to this. I was wondering if this was ever going to happen. Look, if I say I'm going to do the stream, I'm going to do the stream, whether it's late or not. However, I got a bone to pick with you, Philip. I can't lie, you ruined Penguin for me. Because, yes, you didn't tell me what happened, but when you said that, oh, he does something in the 8th episode that's going to make you totally hate him, I knew exactly what it was you were referring as soon as I saw the first episode. And I'll be honest, I don't actually hate him for it, but I knew it was coming. So for the whole seven episodes, I'm just waiting to see it confirmed, and it happened. I'm like, all right, cool. So yeah, man like Muller was first in the building. Shout out to you. The link is coming into the chat very, very soon. Everyone get involved. Everyone can jump on, have your talks, have your say. Untraceable in the building. Shout out to you. And Jonah31, shout out to you. But yeah, literally just finished watching Penguin. Had to update my my Now account, so I'm paying extra money. But I do need to watch Day of the Jackal. There's a couple other things. I'm gonna make use of the, I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep the entertainment package, so I might only have it for the month. So if that's the case, I've got to make use and get through all the shows and stuff that's on there from early. Shout out to Stephen Grubb. How are you? Hope you're good, Estevan. Sorry if I kind of spoiled it. To be honest, the only thing that would have made me hate him is if someone ended up getting chucked out of a penthouse window. That's all I'll say for the time being. What I will say to the people though, when we get talking, I'm not responsible for anything that ends up being spoiled. everything that we talk about, I'm pretty sure would have been out by about 2 weeks by now, a week or 2 weeks. The only caveat is the Gladiator film. I'm gonna try and avoid anyone talking spoilers for that because it's only been out for a few days over here, and I know in the States it hasn't come out yet. Even though I know this isn't a States-heavy channel, but yeah, we'll refrain from talking too much about that, just outside of what we thought of the film, if we liked it, etc., etc. Man, like Esteban could just use a VPN. Yeah, but some people want that cinema experience. You don't get that with the VPN. But that being, yeah, hold on. Oh, what's he saying now? I just want to mention I haven't seen Gladiator 2, just letting you know. Okay, fine. As I said, I'm going to avoid talking about it outside of just what I thought of the film. I can't vouch for anyone else. But that will be the most recent thing on here. So like Red One, stuff that's happening in WWE, Heretic, like the Terrifier series, which I just found out about a month ago. I watched the first two as like a double bill at the cinema. Then I went and saw the third. I didn't even I just watched the first two and then found out that the third one was coming out like a week later. I was like, okay, cool. And we could talk about all of that. I saw Heretic the other day as well. Red One. What else have I seen recently? Transformers 1. That was sick. What else have I seen? I'd have to go through my cinema logins because I see so much I can't remember half the stuff. But like Netflix as well. I've been watching a lot of old stuff on Netflix. I finished watching all the new episodes of Cobra Kai. I'm waiting. Obviously I've got to wait till February now for the last bit. So I'm gonna say that ended in a bit of a madness. Although I kind of saw it coming. The way the last episode ended. Again, we're gonna talk about everything. So, like, 2 minutes just to let anyone else come in who wants to come in, and then that link's getting in the chat, or we could get talking. But yeah, there is so much good stuff. I've been watching a thing called and it's an old series. What is it called? It's a hospital show on Netflix, and I can't believe the name has escaped me, but I've been literally watching it for like the last 5 months or so, 5-6 months. Like I haven't been like, binging everything on it, but I've just kind of been watching it bit by bit. What's it called? New Amsterdam. That's what I've been watching. I started watching The Lincoln Lawyer when I was in Birmingham at the start of the month. I was watching with one of my old friends, like a girl that I knew from I was like 17. No, I was older than that. I think girl that I met when I was like 17, 18. And I hadn't seen her since I was about 22, maybe 22, 23. And she, randomly, she just messaged me on Facebook, told me she'd living in Birmingham now, about a few months back. So we've just, so obviously we started talking. I went and saw her and the kids on my last trip, and we just started watching the series. And I'm kind of engrossed in it now. So yeah, Lincoln Lawyer's there. The Cage, I've been watching The Cage. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm about 3 or 4 episodes into that. Because initially, I can't lie, I thought it was a film, but then when I saw the series, okay, cool. But yeah, The Cage, a few other bits and pieces that I'm finishing. I finished watching Frasier on Prime TV. I've always been a big Frasier fan. Obviously, the new ones ain't quite as dope as the old series and all that, but yeah, what else is on Prime? Funny enough, I started watching Bionic Woman again with Michelle Ryan, just for the sake of it. Shout out to that guy. Apparently the Superman trailer will release in December. Okay, cool. All right, I feel like there's enough people in the building, so let me get that link go to the chat. Any and everyone who wants to jump on could all jump on. I'll let everyone know at the same time. We can just all discuss. All right, so for everyone, link is in the chat. Feel free. Okay, so Black Adam's on Prime now as well. I need to watch. I'm sure I've seen part of it before, but Cross. I need to watch Cross. Lioness, I've been watching. The Mayor of Kingstown. That was a sick show. I'm just going through my continue watching list. I just finished Cross, pretty decent on Prime. Yep, I need to finish it. I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't watched all of it yet, but I'm working my way through everything. All right, let's see who's in the building first and foremost. Okay, man like Mulla is in the building. Oh wait, it's not allowing me to let him in at this present time. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's connections. Yo, Muller, if you can hear me, jump out and then jump back in, because it's not allowing me to add you to the stream. It's only giving me the option to kick you out, and I don't want to do that. Someone else click the link as well. Just The Resident, I won't say it's on the list, but it is something that I will give a look to at some point. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what the sound's saying. Are we all good? Everything sounding nice and clear, no issues, no glitching. Like stream strong. All right, while I'm waiting for Mullers to jump in, let me... All right, perfect sound. Okay, cool. You know what? Since it's the last thing I watched, literally like the most clear in my mind, let's talk about Penguin. So, admittedly, like I was watching it, but I wasn't, you know, usually I'll be like paying 100% attention to something, but because I was watching part of it while I was working earlier, I've been watching it sort of throughout. Like there may have been some key parts I missed, but I feel as if I got obviously the gist of it. How he's basically come from trying to be like an underling to, you know, getting his top status in the town, in the city, and how it basically is supposed to tie in partially to the new Batman film, the second one. Oh yeah, there we go. Muller's about. Let me add to stage. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave the music on. I'm just gonna turn it down a bit so that you just got a little ambience in the background. But how you keeping, man? What's good?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah, no, the issue I was having, it weren't connecting to my AirPods.
Oh.
It kept telling me it was blocked, so I was trying to sort the AirPods thing out. But yeah, no. So
yeah, no, because when I looked at it, it was literally saying, it gave me 3 options. It said edit name, kick from studio, ban from studio. I'm like, I don't want to do none of that.
Then I was in settings when you said that. I went into settings in it. So I'm there trying to think, like I'm thinking I got the AirPods in. It was playing through the AirPods, then it just weren't working. So I thought, let me see if I can work it. I did what it told me to do, but no, I didn't even that didn't even help it.
Fair dues, man. But look, since you're the first guest on, and appreciate you coming on for this, man. Like,
Man, always, man.
what do you want to talk about? Because I know you,
Let-
like me, you
let-
watch
let-
everything.
Let's go Gladiator. Obviously,
Okay.
we won't try to do no spoilers, but
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Obviously, because I saw the original, I've seen the original.
Yeah.
I like the original, but then obviously it's been years since that came out in it. But so I thought, so when I saw the thing for it, I saw Denzel was in it, but the way I saw that he was in it is like it weren't even really like a main kind of bro. So I thought, I'll watch it just because Denzel's in it, regardless. And then obviously as the trailer started coming out, you started seeing like more bits with him. So I thought he's more in a main role than it was like kind of first given. So I thought, nah, definitely gonna go. Then obviously before I went to see the new one, I thought, nah, let me rewatch the old one just to give man a refresher. So obviously man watched that. I think I watched it the morning before I went because we both went on the Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw it in IMAX in the one Odeon in Wimbledon, and so I thought, now let me watch the first one, then I'll go that because they had like a early screening, so I thought definitely got to watch it. So I thought, cool. So when I got there now, I like the way the new one kind of starts because if you haven't really seen the original, it kind of lays out kind of what happened.
Yeah. A little piece. I was, because the thing is, when I was watching it, I thought, okay, is it going to be like a direct sequel? Is it going to be one of those inspired by? I wasn't quite sure. Nothing in the trailers really told you. Like, you didn't know if there was any character. Yeah, like if there was any characters that was tied to the old one, or like I said, whether it was just inspired by, or it's like another tale that's almost adjacent. You couldn't quite tell. And then so you get.
Go on.
No, then you get that kind of the opening credit and like the writing and everything, and they tell you, oh, okay, so this takes place in the same universe about 16 years later. Okay, right. So now we understand where we are in this.
Yeah, because everyone I know that's seen the original, like even my older brother, he was like, "No, I'm not gonna go watch it. Like, I don't want to watch it. Like, the original was too good." And then I think like a couple of weeks ago, I must have been at my mum's house. Like I was chilling. And I think he had seen one of the later trailers for it. And he was like, no, I kind of want to go see it now still. It looks kind of thing. And I was like, no, it does. So when I see him tomorrow, I'm like, nah, you need to kind of go see it. Because like I think, especially if you enjoy the first one, because in a sense, it's a carry on kind of story, but it's a different story.
Yeah.
So you don't get the sense of, you lot kind of ruined the first. And you try to make a story with the second. Like I feel essentially you get two different stories, which overall by the end of it kind of link in.
Yeah, they link in, they overlap, and then it's almost like as well. It's not a homage to the first one because obviously there's similar beats where maybe battling for freedom and stuff because that was the first one. So okay, we kind of get something similar in the second, but they go about it a different way, and then it's a little bit of a different. It's almost like the objective is slightly different. The first one's about overthrowing like one bad leader, but this one's about kind of overthrowing or bringing a country back to its former glory. Yeah, and I feel like they did. I feel like they went past that part quite well.
Yeah, because even like obviously with like the opening thing and that like scene and that. But I've got to say, like a lot of films I've seen recently end up with like a little tragic kind of love story ending in some kind of brutal way.
Bare fridging going on.
Yeah, and then flipping like, and then with the way that opens, it's like because it's not like the first one where why he ends up being neglected. Because you don't, even with this one, like even to the sense where he becomes the gladiator, even how that kind of ties in, it's not the same as in the first. But then obviously as that story starts to play out and obviously you get the few characters from the first one in this one, and then you kind of start being able to draw things in and think, this piece matches this. And then even like by not even so much the end, but coming up towards the end and that, and then you proper start linking things in. It's like, they've actually done a very good story. Like I wouldn't say it's the best film I've seen this year. If I'm being honest, if I'm being true to myself, I would say it was number one only because of Denzel.
Okay.
But if I remove my Denzel bias out, I'll definitely say it's in the top 3 films I've seen this year.
Okay.
And that's me removing my bias from it.
And you know what? That's a big shout because while I can't remember every single thing I've watched, like, and this is obviously new, so it's fresh in the mind, but there's not much that really gave me the same vibes as this. Like that, I mean, look, I could do a stream next week. And you know, I remember this, that, and that, and these are touching, and these are close. But in my head, like, I don't remember something giving me the same feeling, that same experience. The only bad thing, and it's not even really a bad thing because I can do it next week or whatever, is I didn't watch it in IMAX. Usually I watch the IMAX thing, but I decided to go the free route and use the limitless card to the full effect.
Yeah, no, so I was gonna do the limitless thing, and I thought I might do that this weekend because my cousin wants to see it. So I thought, like, if you're going Odeon, I'm there.
Shout me.
So I thought I saw it and I thought, nah, I gotta do IMAX. Like, so when I see they had like a 12:30 screen, I was like, nah, I'm definitely there because that allows me to go in and then I come out and I still got the rest of my day. But
Do you know what it was? No,
well,
so I was gonna say, you know, it was the reason I actually didn't do the IMAX is because, you know me, certain times, yeah, if whether I'm with someone or I'm not, you know, and certain days, there's only certain days that I will go cinema like solo. Monday is usually one of those early or very late, but
yeah.
Monday's like one of the only ones I'll probably do that. But I was like, you know what, because I don't know if I'll get to go next week or the week after. Again, I'm trying to make use of my cards. Certain times I might just do 2 for 1. So I've looked up, okay, what's where, how can everything sync up? So man went to see Heretic first, and then like I had a 15-20 minute gap between the two, then go see that. So that's why there was no that the IMAX screenings. I think they stopped. I think the last one was like 7:30 or something. So it's like it wouldn't have worked out.
I think even in my Odeon, it was like a 7 o'clock screening, which was the last one. But because I knew obviously my son's mum and that she'd be going, but she does night shifts in it, so I thought,
yeah,
I gotta go for the early one. Now, like, when I go cinema though, like this year, like I started ranking films in it. So when I've watched them, like I'll put them in like a ranking order, and I'll stay true to myself as I'm going through it. Like, cause like it'll give me like an overall impression of like how each film's been in it. And I'll say for me, like this year, the 2 films that stood out for me, removing any bias out, because Deadpool and then this, when I saw Denzel was in it, it already had a bias. Like I was like, those 2 could just be put to the top, and we don't need to chat about everything else. But then when I was thinking about it, I was like, no, the 2 best films I've seen this year was Monkey Man and probably Kill.
Okay.
Because for me, Monkey Man, even though the trailers and that made it look good, I wasn't expecting such a well put together film. Like even down to like the soundtrack, everything they did with that, I thought was just amazing work. And then Kill was just like John Wick on a train, if you point it like that. That film was just next level.
Do you know what? It's weird. I forgot about Monkey Man, but you know what? I liked Monkey Man, yeah, but I can't lie. When I see the obviously I see the trailer and that, and it gave me more of a vibe like it was gonna be almost like The Raid or a film like that.
Yeah.
And it had some of that, but it just wasn't like, it was more gunplay than it was like, you know, combat. And I was expecting a bit more combat.
There, I was unsure what I was going in to watch. Because some of the trailers made it seem like, because at the time when the trailers were going out, I think I was watching a couple horrors when they was playing the trailers. So I was thinking, am I going to be watching a horror film? Is it like I wasn't sure what kind of category we was fitting it into. But like I say, just overall as like a film though, for me, everything about it was just kind of like perfect. Because then, like I say, it took up until Longlegs for me to remove the Bob Marley film off the bottom of my list. Because I think that was the worst film I've seen this year.
You know, I didn't hate it. Longlegs, I can agree. No, I didn't hate the Marley film. I didn't hate Bob Marley.
No, the Marley film for me, I went in it, but then I think it's having the Jamaican heritage and knowing the Bob Marley story, it's a bit different. So when I'm seeing what I'm seeing and knowing that the family had involvement with the film, I was like,
they're not telling you everything. Yeah, like, they're not telling you everything. They're kind of glossing over certain stuff, and they're picking and choosing. Look, it's not the overall complete
but that's
arc.
I think the only reason I say I need to watch it again, removing the bias, because it does say from the get-go it is just focusing on like the last 3 years of his life. But like I say, I went into it thinking, I'm gonna get something good. The family's been involved, but so for me, I was just let down on that part. Although I'm gonna be honest, the white people that I was in the cinema with were standing up clapping at the end, and I was just thinking, you don't really like. Like I
because
was like,
yeah,
surely
because
they-
that's to them. That's probably their first.
No, it was.
You
No, there
know,
was one girl. It was her mum brought her to thing, and I think it was like her first introduction. But obviously, when you
yeah.
grow up on it, you kind of have a different
Of
view.
course,
But
of
Long
course.
Legs,
Oh yeah,
the
that was
trailer for
horrible.
that, the trailer
I thought
for
it was
that
a
made
horror.
it seem like it was gonna be good. And I'm
Supernatural.
watching,
I
I'm
thought it was a
just like-
supernatural thing. Yeah.
And I'm watching, I'm just thinking, I don't get who watched this and gave it this best film I've seen. I'm like, look, you lot rated this, and I'm just like, this is like the worst film I've seen this year.
I gotta agree. I still to this point, to this day, I still don't know what the film was about.
Nah,
I literally
left the film
don't.
confused. I left the film confused. I didn't even realize it was Nicolas Cage in there at first. I was like, oh right, that was Nicolas Cage. I'm like, could have fooled me. Like, yeah, it was just one of them films.
I literally thought, 'cause when I saw the first things first, because before I walked in, I just saw the name Long Legs, and I saw obviously the long legs on the poster. I thought it was at first I thought it was a film about like killer spiders or something.
That's what I
'Cause,
thought, because I
yeah.
see it around the time with that film Sting, the trailers.
Yeah,
I thought, oh, might be, yeah, no.
yeah, and yeah, it was. I mean, unless it's supposed to be some form of supernatural, but I was confused. I was like, I'm so glad that it was only because of Limitless I see this. Because if I had
No,
paid
it's the
money,
same.
I would have been asking for money back. I'm like,
Because I look
we're
at it
not
now,
doing
I'm
that.
like, this Limitless card, it's done me good this year. Because like I said, I think I've been cinema like 23 times so far this year. And I'm thinking some of these films I never would have paid to actually go and watch. Like I've seen certain kids' films which I've rated more than it.
Yeah.
But it's
And
like
you know
next
what,
year, though. Go on.
Yeah, no. I'm saying the same thing with you. When I first got mine, right, it was about 20. I think I got mine back in 2013. So when it was just before they even called it Limitless, I think it was just like my Odeon or whatever.
Yeah.
And just from there, because before that, everything was about okay, go with the man, them like, or go with a girl or whatever, and just you go and you make an event of it. But then it was like certain times when we were supposed to be getting together to all link up and watch certain films. Everyone's leading different lives now, so it's not really the same. And then I'm a person, especially if it's a big event, I ain't trying to get spoiled. So I'm trying to go as soon as I can, and then others ain't really syncing up. And then this thing came out, so I'm like, all right, you know what? In certain events, like again, like I said, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I can go like one up in certain places, especially early in the day or like really late at night. The only days I still won't go like one up is probably like Friday, Saturday, and then maybe Sundays, depending on the time and that. But yeah, I got this card and I'm like, right, so I just can go cinema whenever. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went and I've watched so many films that I thought this film is amazing, but I would have never gone to pay money to see it. It's just because I've got this card. All right, what's next? The only bad thing about the card for me is I can't go cinema and not buy snacks. So
Now, see,
eventually,
I rolled in with my snacks. I'm that guy.
the thing is,
that
the thing is, I do that as well, but certain times I just need that cinema snack feel. I don't know if you have that same.
Because my cousin used to work in the cinema, I'm a bit skeptical, especially on certain times when I'm going into the cinema.
Okay.
It's like even like back in the day, like a couple of the oldest from my thing used to like do jobs in McDonald's and stuff, and they would tell me, "No, you don't never do it this." So now, depending on the time I'm going in, I'm like, "Yeah, no, I can't really do that." And ice glass might be the thing where I'm like, "No, I can do the ice glass, and that's cool." But nah, it's just something that was kind of put into my head with how they treat certain things. I was like, "Yeah, no, I just can't do it."
No, I get that. And like I said, it's not maybe every time thing, but it's one of those things because I go so often. It's like they're still getting their money from me because there's something that I'm gonna buy, which is obviously is marked up to high heaven.
You also get the discount when you have the Limitless.
Yeah, that's true. They're 10% and that, or sometimes 20, depending on the time of the year or the show. Yeah.
But okay, so even next year, like the trailers because obviously we've sent each other trailers and that. Like I think even like the early part of next year. The cinema is looking like it's gonna see me a lot next year, even on solo things, or if we like I say do like group link ups and that, like because there's because obviously you got the ballerina thing, that one was cold. I forget what the one is that you sent me with
Thunderbolts.
B. Jordan.
Forgot
what the name of that one is.
Yeah, I know the. Oh, yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I remember.
I see Mark Wahlberg film that I sent you. That I think Flight Risk. That was meant to come
Oh,
out
yeah.
in November, and then that's pushed to I think February.
I'm thinking Thunderbolts, Captain America, Brave New World, Ballerina.
Took some.
What else is on my? Oh, Mission Impossible 9, or whatever they're
Which
calling it.
Final Awakening.
Yeah, that one.
See, it's annoying because obviously that should have already been done.
Yeah, that was supposed to come out, but you know what? I don't mind if they push it back if it means it's gonna be better, innit? Like
No,
I'll
when they
accept
originally
that.
started doing it, they was doing them simultaneously, innit? The two of the films.
Yeah.
And obviously, when the writer's strike happened, then it pushed it back. That writer's strike kind of messed up a lot of things in terms of cinema to what actually come out when it, because obviously that Final Awakening should have technically come out this year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure next year is when they're dropping that second part to that Fast and the Furious crap. Oh, that film. Oh man. You know what's annoying about that film though? I have to go and see it now because I've invested so much into that story. Like, I need to just see it out.
100%. No, I agree. I mean, I'm like that with a lot of things as well. That's the same reason why I saw Terrifier 3. Although, to be honest, I don't know if you've watched all of those yet. The first one, when I saw the first, because basically it was a double bill. So I'm watching this first and I'm like,
Yeah, because I was going to go to the double bill when they had
yeah. And that literally just random, 'cause I didn't know what it was. Oh, double bill. Okay, cool. I've gone to this first and I'm like, this is awful. Like, and it's not awful in terms of it's not like an inherently bad film, but there's certain things in the film that is just so egregiously outside the realm of consciousness. I'm like, how did you end up making the film? I think that this was going to take place, but the thing that kind of kept me invested was some of the mad deaths that they done. I was like, Rod, I ain't seen nothing like this before. No Final Destination, no gory films, like no, like, Halloween, no Friday the 13th. Like they went and took like gore and gruesome to some different levels in that first. I said, oh, okay, all right, cool. Then right at the end of the film, it changes. And it then becomes about some kind of supernatural thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I see man like Chris Jericho in the second one. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then the second one is a lot better than the first one, and it makes more sense. Certain things that in the first one wouldn't have made sense, but makes sense in the second one. Was a lot better. And then the third one, again, it was like the second. It was just fun. It wasn't a great film. I'm not going to go there and say, oh yeah, it's one of the best films I ever seen. Acting's amazing, blah, blah, but it was just fun.
And yeah, sometimes you just get some of them just fun films.
Yeah.
Like,
you need that.
And you don't put anything like, yeah, I wouldn't say, but you just go and kind of enjoy. Because I even did that like this year. Because I think it was Imaginary. When I even saw that on my list,
yeah.
Bro, was that even this year? Like, that felt like so long ago.
Yeah.
Wow. But for me, that was just like a fun film. It wasn't nothing great, but it wasn't bad. I was like, it was just an okay. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, no, it was decent. And the premise of it was interesting. It was a bit similar. Funny enough, it was like the dark version of the Ryan Reynolds film. What was Friend? Yeah, that one. If that's it. If it was like the dark version of that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because even I was spun at first. I was thinking, and then when I see them doing it, I was like, oh, bro, like this one just in the head.
Oh, then what was the film? There was I know there was another film similar to that. The one where like they put the children's souls in like the robots. Not the robots, the toys.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't know the name of the film.
Oh yeah, that came out this year as well.
One film that did annoy me this year though. Well, and I don't even blame it. The Strangers. I didn't realize when I first originally saw it, it was obviously it's a remake of another, like a previous film, innit? But it's in 3 parts. I'm like, I've seen the first one, and obviously that was kind of thing. I'm like, the second one can't be that far behind, like, because you lot now left me on a cliffhanger, and now I know I've got 2 more films to see. Like, release it.
I think it's like it's a prequel. I think it's a prequel to the original one that came
when I saw
out.
it, I was thinking, like, I need to kind of see it now because I don't know how I feel about the film without seeing the rest.
Yeah,
because I know it's part of like a series essentially. I'm like, I kind of liked it, but now without the rest of it, I don't really know how I feel about the film.
And that's it's funny because they've done the same thing on on Netflix last year with like the Fear Street films, but obviously they put them out within like a month of each other or 2 months of each other.
Yeah.
So you still had it was quick. But yeah, when they do it in the cinema, the same way how they did that with Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, and now we're waiting for Beyond the Spider-Verse, and like I need to know what's happening with Miles. I need to know what's happening
Yeah, no, but
with
when I
this
saw that,
new
no,
Panther.
you know the thing that annoyed me with that one there, because obviously I saw the post. Obviously, our poster didn't say it, but the American poster for the film said part 1,
Yeah.
whereas our one was just like as if that was the film. Because I'm watching it with my son now, and obviously it finished on the. I was like, okay, but like literally after I saw it, like I saw the American poster and it said part 1. I was like, if only you like put that on there for me, I would have been a bit more. Because now I've left the film thinking, what's going on now?
No, because you know, before it was supposed to, the American one, I think that was an old poster because initially the names of them was part 1 and part 2, but then they changed it to Into and then it was Across and then Beyond. So their one should also say Across the Spider-Verse. But I knew it was a part 1 and part 2, but I was told initially that one was supposed to be coming out like I think at the start of the year, or it was either December, and then the next one's supposed to come out the following December, but they just didn't. And I thought they was both filmed back to back. And initially they said it
was. But remember when the writer's strike happened? That was one of the films that played casualty to that, and then it stopped. So I think with the way Marvel did it, because even obviously Deadpool was meant to come out at a certain point, and then they pushed. I think they just pushed a lot of their films back because obviously they was like, I think with this Spider-Man one, I think it was like the lead up to promotion weren't going to be as much as they would want in terms of getting it ready. So
no, do you know what it was? No, do you know what it was? They did the structure of like the second part. They like structured it out and everything, but it wasn't. But they didn't do the production on it at the same time as the first one. So they knew where the story was going. They recorded certain bits and pieces, but it wasn't done. And then that strike happened, and then that pushed everything back like 5-6 months. And you know, them things take over like a year to kind of do anyway, animations and all that. So that's what it was. But up till now, we've still got no release date. So that's crazy. Like we literally don't know when that film's coming out.
No, it just makes me know that next year there's going to be films. I'm getting rolled in with the children.
I'm hoping. You know, I can't lie. Certain times I'm so glad I got God Kids because there's certain films I'm like secretly I want to watch this, but I can't go by myself.
No, I kind of I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of like that with Paddington. I was thinking because I'm having to watch it every day anyway. I'm thinking I kind of want to watch the film now. And then luckily for me, my son's wanting to go, so I was like, it's a win-win.
Cool.
It's like I know they're gonna want to go see the Sonic film, so I'm like, that's a win-win.
Yep. No, but the thing is, I know my God Kids, they're getting older. I mean, they're both still like under 12 and that, but they're getting old to the point where now they want to try to see some of the more grown-up-ish type films. And obviously, I'll go with them for certain ones. But now luckily, they've got a younger brother who's only just sort of turning 3. But when he kind of gets to like 4 or 5, then I can start bringing him to, if there's any other guilty pleasures that I want to take, he can be the escape for those ones.
I started introducing him to certain films outside of his age range. I'm thinking I see them when I was younger than you. We can start trickling them in. Just don't tell your mom.
Oh yeah, that's the pact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me go through the chat real quick. Just a couple comments. I know Philip said that he said Monkey Man was dope. Yep. That guy said Denzel doesn't do too many whack movies. 100%. Shout out to Ryan Hutchison in the building. Dr. Wolf Tickets in Big Up. He says, when I was in the US this summer, they were practically body scanning the patrons in case they brought their own snacks. Yeah, they don't play that in America.
No, in America, they don't play that. In England, like I say, Odeon will just let you roll in. I've seen man coming there with their McDonald's bags. And obviously, there's
done it.
What's the Popeyes next to my one now, innit? So people just be rolling in. I'm just a guy. I come in with my hot chocolate and I'm cool.
Yeah. I mean, certain times I'll bring I might bring a bag with me, put some certain things in there. Like it depends on what type of film. If it's a film where I feel like I need that quote unquote cinema feel, then I'll go to the kiosk. Yeah. But more time than not, I might just have my bag and I've gone like B&M and just got the big night in and all that.
I've got my kids and Yeah, they can eat for days in it. So I'm just like, cool, we'll bring them in. You don't get it at the start of the film. Now just leave me be in it.
Yeah, because no, the worst, the worst one when I used to have my god kids though is that, especially, and the thing is, the drinks weren't even that big that they were taking, but you'd be like in the film, and sometimes it's like the first time I'm seeing it. You're in the film, all of a sudden,
Oh, I need to go to the
Uncle, I need to go to the toilet, and no, you know what? They've done it a couple of times at like when there's a big action scene about to take place. I'm looking at them like, you can't hold that. But obviously
it's
they can't.
annoying because my second son, he's the one that does it. And my older son, like he could just go off by himself. So more time now, I'm not gonna lie, I'll send him with him. But even like when we're at football games, like it's my second son. Oh, I need to go to the toilet. But big man, it's like, can't you wait till half time or something? So now I'm happy I have my mum in it because my mum will go up and then she'll just watch him go. And I'm just like, yeah, nah, because these toilet breaks like too frequent.
I hear that. Yeah, certain times. And I remember there was one time, right? I made them go to the toilet before the film started. Then about 40 minutes or 45 minutes into the film, bear in mind, again, they've got a drink. They haven't had the full drink. They haven't even drank the whole thing. I had to go to the toilet. Okay, take them out. And then like about an hour later, I need to go to the toilet again.
Yeah, no, that's my second time.
Yeah, no, actually, one time it was 3 times the youngest one had to. And I was looking at this, like, what's wrong with you? Are you doing this on purpose? But
no, I feel like my second son done it on purpose at times because you send him in, it's like, oh, I didn't even need to go. So hold on, we've come all the way down here. Now I've got to walk back in. Nah, it's long,
mate. On quick shout out, man like North Bank Brendan, shout out Basin Muller, man like Brendan, shout out. Dan the man in the building as well. Shout out to you. That's it. 5 Nights at Freddy's. That's it. That's the one. That guy. Thank you. He goes, yeah, that sucked. It was one of those films where I wouldn't have necessarily thought to pay for it, but I didn't like hate the time I was in the cinema. That's what I'll say about it. Has anyone seen Rebel Ridge on Netflix? I have. Have you watched that?
Nah, I've got a lot of things on my watch list on Netflix that I just kind of need to go through. But it's like even like now, obviously the Penguin thing, I was waiting for that to finish. Obviously that's finished now. And then is it The Night of the Jackal? I'm waiting for that. So like I think I was meant to start Penguin yesterday. What happened yesterday? I think I ended up doing something yesterday and I just didn't even get around to starting it. And then I think by that point I think I ended up watching basketball and I was like, no, we'll run with the basketball for now because
I think I literally started Penguin yesterday or the day before because I knew this was coming up. So I was like, okay, do you know what? Because I know that Philip in the chat had spoke to me about it. So okay, I'll watch it. I'll pay the £10 to upgrade my my membership on Now TV because I only got it for Sky Sports. But I'll upgrade it now for that. So I goes, all right, let me watch it. I was kind of like I said, I've been binging. I haven't been fully like I've watched enough of it to know the thing without necessarily watching it hard. But yeah, it was cool and I liked the Batman. I thought it was all right. I'm interested how the next one goes. And Penguin is like the dark adult universe.
The guy I worked with, he didn't realize like Penguin was part of Batman, innit? I was like, okay. You need to kind of go back some years.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole film with Penguin in there.
Yeah. No, but it's decent. Night of the Jackal, I might wait for the binge. There's a couple things I feel like I can wait until they're there so I can just binge them because I don't want to do the week by week where I have to try and
that's why
remember.
A lot of these, I just wait for them to all be there and then I can just binge it. Because I hate when I'm watching stuff and it's just like, it's like when Power. Like I remember, like with the original Power, I didn't watch it, and then one day everyone was like, "No, man, just watch it." And I was like, "No, I don't want to watch it," because in my head I'm thinking, "The Wire's what I know, innit?" Like, then I watched the first episode, had me hooked. I looked like a fiend every day, like on the way to and from work, on my lunch break. I downloaded up to the point where it was in real time, and I caught up with it. And I hated myself for it. Cause I was thinking, now I'm like everyone else. I gotta wait week by week for this thing to drop. But when you have something to just binge, like I'm like, it makes it worth it. Because like even with Ozark, like everyone was like, obviously I watched it and everyone was like, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. You've just got to get through the first 3 episodes. Once you get through them, your thing changes on it. Like it's a bit of a slow burner, but once it gets going, you'll enjoy it. Because that's my thing. I hate watching something. Then the first episode, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. And then you're kind of thing. But when you've got enough to go off, like in the case of Penguin now, the whole series is there. I can just binge it, and then by the end of it, I'll be like, nah, that was like, you can kind of just give your honest opinion because you've not had to watch it in parts.
You can decide, okay, if I like it or if I like it or I don't, or okay, I'm happy that I didn't have to wait, because if I waited, I probably wouldn't have come back. You know, them ones.
Yeah, no, 'cause I think with certain shows, that's how it gets. Because like,
Especially when they've been going for long.
Yeah, because even like that show, Gangs of London, I watched that week by week. Luckily, that weren't one of them bad ones. But I watched that week like thing, and I was like, no, it kind of had me gripped because like it would finish in a way like, no, now I need to come back.
Yeah, and the action was cold in that still.
Yeah, I think season 1, I think it was like episode 5 or something on like the farm thing. That was one of the craziest episodes of the program I think I've seen.
Yeah. I look, there's so all right, so tell me this, back to Gladiator real quick, in terms of a score for you, because you said it's like it's up there in your films of the year, removing your bias, but out of 10, what are you kind of rating it?
I'll give it 8.5.
Okay, that's about what I was getting with it as well.
Because I'd say, again, if I put my bias in it, I would say it was a 10. But obviously, if I remove that bias and I give an honest thing, I'll say no, it's 8.5, and it's something I would tell people like, right, no, you should actually watch it. Because like I say, even the people I know who have seen the original and they're like, no, I don't really want to see it. Like, I'm like, no, just remove your thing from it because it's not what you're thinking. Like, if you're thinking you're going in and seeing something that's just following on from the first, even though, like I say, there's bits where that story kind of ties in, you're not seeing that same kind of thing. It's not like the Terminator or something where the story's kind of the same. It's two different stories. Like I say, once you get to, I think if you're smart halfway through, you should realize what the kind of storyline is in the film, essentially. So I think once you piece all those things and you see the old people there, like characters, and then you kind of work how it ties in with the first, then I think you'd be like, no, okay, yeah, it was definitely worth it. Like, because the story is different. But yeah, no, definitely 100%. I'd say 8.5. Yeah, no, I couldn't even give it lower than that. Even if I can't find too many negatives with the film.
Yeah, no, do you know what? It kind of, for some reason, and it may just be me, but it gave me like, in terms of, I guess, the structural layout and just maybe the overall theme of it, it gave me Lion King vibes. Did you kind of get that in terms of the almost having to reclaim the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when you put it like that, that's a perfect analogy for how you see it. Because it's like, oh, bro, I kind of got to go back. And like I say, when you actually realize who he is, sort of thing, now you've said the Lion King thing, that's the perfect summarization for it. Because like, right, now I got to kind of go back and reclaim what's mine. Because even like certain bits where he's kind of like nitpicking, like, oh, who's that's been removed? Like, he knows what he's asking. And he's just hoping, because what that part gave me was like ancient Egypt vibes. Because like even like certain parts in ancient Egyptian history, like people like Tutankhamun, Akhenaten, like they're scraped from history. Like there's certain things where their names have just been removed. But obviously Tutankhamun's one in that thing is because of what his dad did. So obviously he then fell short because of what his dad did, even though he tried to go back to what they knew. Whereas in this one, he kind of knew what his thing was. And he's just hoping people will kind of, like, in a sense, like they're being honest enough to tell him, bro, like, no, that was this. Because then even when my man takes him down and shows him where obviously this is where we buried them when they, and then you see his face and it's like, so that's why, like, even with that scene, that bit there, in my head, I knew, I was like, oh, we're going to come back to the scene and you're going to reclaim what you've just seen there. So when, like, toward the end, when he obviously goes back, it's like, nah, that kind of thing, that part there, I was like, nah, this, yeah, you lot have done it.
But you know what? How good was Denzel in that film?
It was amazing. Because here's the thing, I didn't know what to expect from him in that kind of role. Like I say, if you've watched Macbeth, you can kind of understand he can get into that bag. But at the same time, even with this, and just the way he played, he was playing like both sides of the coin, like especially with the brothers, like the way he was puppying them, like it was amazing. And then even like towards the end when he kind of steps in, it's like, no, like, and it's like, oh no, you've really got these man thing. And then when he's betting with my man about the fit, like near the beginning,
Yeah.
I'm just like, nah, his character was cold. Because like I say, when I first read on it, because like it didn't say he was like a main character. It was like, I think the thing just said he was like in the film, but he wasn't didn't really elaborate on what he was doing. And
Yeah.
obviously, when you find out what his role is, and like I say, as the trailers kept coming out, it was like, oh no, like he actually has role in the movie. So I was kind of like, but no, definitely 100%. I think I'd put up there one of his best roles, because obviously, if we're being honest, it's like one of the only roles that isn't kind of based on a true story, essentially. Because if you look at his career, he plays a lot of true life people, like in real stories. So I think when you actually see him step out of his bag into a different kind of thing, it does impress.
And you know what? Also, I guess outside of that, like the way he played that role, you've got to, and I say this, you know, I'm going to go back like 20, 30 years. I get cancelled, fine. He has to be so comfortable within himself to play that role. The way he was skirting around, almost being like that sassy, colorful, fruity type of individual, like, but skirting it all, like he's almost playing it.
The way he did that,
yeah,
he did it.
It was impressive.
It was true to like the art form, but without selling himself out.
Yeah,
as some people would say, like when you've seen certain people like Chris Tucker and that doing, like, I think he did it in a way where he's still being true to himself and what his principles are, but he did it enough to make you be convinced in the role itself.
Yeah, and I think it's a case.
When I started seeing it, I was like, ooh, like I see people, like before I saw people comment on certain things. I was like, I'm just gonna skip past this because I ain't seen the film. I don't know what you lot are talking about. And I don't know what you lot are talking about because it might cloud my judgment when watching the film. So I thought, let me watch it before I even come back to any opinions on him. But I would say, like you say, he does it in such a way that he kind of flirts with it, but he doesn't oversell or commit to it. But like I say, execution on that, for him was, for me, perfect.
And you know, that's the kind of thing where I feel like he had to be this age to do it, because I don't know if he would have got that same nuance and that same so close to the edge with it like 10, 15, 20 years ago, as good as he is. You know what I mean? Because he's still old school.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Think, you know, I think helps with the role. I think, again, with the way the world's gone and that kind of stuff in natural life has come kind of like more acceptable in that sense. Whether you agree with it or not, I think now it was probably the perfect time for a role like that. Whereas, like you say, 10, 15 years ago, you got to think that's not far off Training Day, when Training Day was released. And most people, when they think Denzel, they go back, oh, Training Day. Like, and for me, it's always mad because, like, everyone forgets about what his first Oscar actually was. Like, and because even like when I saw the film Glory, like, I've always seen the meme from it, and I was just like, I never knew where it was from. And then when I watched the film and I actually saw what the meme was for, and he's getting the one where he's getting lashes, I was like, if you don't knew how like we got to the point of those lashes, but he even played that role so well. Yeah. But that's what spun me, because when I watched that film and I saw Morgan Freeman, I was like, wow, my man's just never really looked any different.
Yeah, certain people just blessed like that. But it's weird because I feel like you get to a certain age and then that's when you stop aging. Like, you don't get any more wrinkles, you don't get any grayer, like you don't lose any more. Like, it's just there's a certain point where, especially like film stars, I've noticed, like, if you get a film star from, say, like 40, let's say like 45, 44, 45, until they get to like 60, they're kind of the same. Then when 60 to maybe 70, if they're still in it, there might be a little bit of a change there. So there's a period in time where it's almost like they just freeze, because when they're in there, like, you know Chris Evans, Chris Evans is one of the perfect ones for that, because he's 43 now and he still kind of looks the same. But I remember when he was the difference he had between like the age of 23 and even like 29, 28 when he did the first Captain America. There was a big difference in him. Yeah. But then from like that first Captain America up to like the last Avengers that he was in, apart from obviously a beard, there was almost no change, and then but now he's got a little couple more wrinkles here, but it's the change is very minimal. So I just noticed that it's almost like they're going stages in like they look like this, and then they have this growth period, and then they're just this, and then up until a certain other point.
Yeah, because if you look at it, you got people like Leonardo DiCaprio pretty much the same throughout his career.
Yep.
Like I say, Morgan Freeman. Like I say, my first ever thing seeing Morgan Freeman was Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
And he was old in that, and I just think this guy has just looked the same, like my whole life. Like he's not only, like I say, in the later years, like you've actually seen a change in my man. But you can go back to old films, and it's like, other than because of based on how the film's filmed, like that it's like back then, because otherwise he's not really changed. So I think interesting one though, because obviously I know Denzel, it's like if we say, because he's only got a few films left, because obviously he's got the role in Black Panther. I think there's another Shakespeare thing he wants to do. I'm not sure if it's a fellow or something, but I think I see something the other day that he's going to do one more Shakespeare thing, and I think like one other kind of role, and I think that's it for him.
Interesting. Well, I'm sure, like everyone said, he very rarely will be in a bad film, and even if he's in a bad film, he never has a bad performance. So I'm sure whatever he's going to do, shell it.
Film's bad. It's all for me. It's pretty much a lot of the earlier ones where, but then again, I think it depends on how you view those films. Because I'd say from Glory onwards, I can't think of many bad films I've really watched of Denzel, and like I say. Because when I argue about him being my GOAT, people are, oh yeah, but he plays the same kind of role. And I'm like, well, you can't play the same kind of role if most of his films are based on a true person. Unless we're saying every person he's played is the same. Like,
unless they're probably trying to say that his like there's a certain archetype of character that he likes to play for the most part. And look, the thing is, there's a lot of actors that do play roles that are very much not the same role, but like it will have the same elements.
Kind of
like The Rock is and look, I'm not putting him anywhere near the category of Denzel, but I'm just saying in terms of his roles, no matter what role he's played, even the roles when he tried to be like almost like the dowdy person, like I think it was Walking Tall, where he played just a regular truck driver, no superpowers, no nothing. He's still this big burly jack guy, and even though he's getting slapped up by a couple, you could still see that. All right, I know that you're at some point you're going to do something. Yeah, he's in Snitch as well. Where
he's trying to obviously get his son, but yeah,
save his son.
He plays like different things. But I say no, with Denzel, for me, like I say, most of the films, but he fully gets into that character. Like the Malcolm X one, Spike Lee said, like when he got into that, he would hear him certain times reciting, and you would think he was listening to Malcolm X because of how deep you think. Man on Fire, even that's a great film.
Definitely. So Philip says Robert Downey Jr., someone that pretty much has stayed the same age for a period of time as well. That's correct. Since I think Iron Man 3 up till now, he's looked exactly the same. Every Rock film, he wears the same grey shirt. Probably a sponsorship deal. Although that being said, he doesn't wear any grey and red ones. So either of you watch Silo? I haven't seen it yet, but it is on the list on Prime Video.
That's on my Prime. My Prime's due to be hit up next because I've got what's that? Is it Cross? The Cross?
No, Cross. It's just called Cross. The detective one. Yeah,
that's due to be watched. But my thing with Prime at the moment, man, I just get annoyed. I ain't got that level of Prime where you don't have the adverts. I've got Prime, but I ain't got the advert. And I remember I was watching something. I didn't even realize they put adverts in. I was thinking, watching something, and I was like, hold up. There's an advert. Like, mid-sentence, it just cut into an advert. And I'm like, and now I'm sitting there for 2 minutes. Like, then I had to rewind it because it cut mid-sentence. I was like, I don't even know what, like, no, mid-word. I didn't even get to hear what the word was. So I had to go back, and I was just like, inconsiderate time to go on a break.
Oh mate, no, I've never, I've got Prime. So I when they said, oh, it's another $2.99 to take out the adverts, I said, you know what, cool, because I had adverts in certain things, and I'm like, yeah, that's long. But my Prime, I've got everything else running through it. So, whereas I had previous like Apple TV and what's it called, Paramount Plus and everything, I've literally just put all of my subscriptions through my Prime account. So I do everything through one app
Now, see,
instead
the
of
only see because my son's mum and that she pays for the like I pay for all the other ones, but she pays for
Yeah.
the Prime. So I'm not telling no, you need to pay the other $2.99 for that. But no, because with Sky Streamers, like I've got Sky Stream in it, so you kind of have all the app like those things like loaded on the box as well.
yeah.
So like even like when I saw the Zone on there, I was thinking, oh hallelujah, I can stop casting that to my flipping screen in the front room, so I can just put it on the thing and it works fine. But yeah, no, all the things that's like loaded on there. And it's just nice, like you can just click through, like no longer having to look for like the main TV control just to flick through to an app, like one of them apps. So like, no, I like the fact that it's all just there now. Man, I can just flick through. And not
Yeah,
have to
I mean,
worry.
I know Sky Stream's like that, but even like I said, with my Prime, just because I've all of my subscriptions are through the Prime, just in that sense, like MGM Plus, Paramount Plus. The only one that's not on there, no, even I think even my Apple TV's through there as well. So
Yeah, no, I can get you
literally,
Apple
so
TV.
yeah, so I don't have to go and back out and go to the home screen and everything. Everything I just go through if I'm using that. But more time on that, I'll be on Netflix. But now because I've got the EE box, I go through that for a couple of bits and pieces, but it's usually just for the sports stuff. I've only got it to watch sports, and now Penguin and Night of the Jackal and stuff. Have you seen Substance?
No.
You saw The Substance? Oh, that was an interesting film. You know what? I liked that film all the way until the end. Like the last
I'm trying to think,
25.
that one, I think that was one of them films where my audience was just showing it at weird times. Like I say, because their mum does nights. I think that was one of them films that was. I think because my audience will put certain films on, and it will be either 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock screening. I'm like, you lot of dickheads, because who's getting like even Kill was like 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I only got to watch it because when I came back from America, I was like, I think it was like the last day it was in the cinema, so I was like, no, I have to go and watch it.
Yeah.
So like I did Wimbledon and then went cinema to watch the film. I was like, nah, I'm not having to try and find this bootleg. But like, if I can get to them like in certain days, like I say, certain films they just do it ridiculous times. That's one of the ones I'm gonna have to find separately.
Yeah, no, it's not one that you have to go cinema for, but the premise of it is interesting. Like it's a good film for like the first 2/3, and then the last third is like they just tried to be auteur and alternative and mad. And I was just looking at it like, all right, this you took something that was a very, very interesting premise, and you've just kind of now made a bit of a. I'm not gonna say they made a joke of it, because what they was doing, I guess it was symbolism, what they was trying to do. I get it, but it was very heavy-handed, and it just didn't sit right with me at the end of it. That's what I'll say. But
I hate that with films though, certain times, because you'll get a film where you enjoy it for the most part, and then like as you're kind of getting to your conclusion, they just might do something where they just go left, and it's just like didn't see this coming, and that wasn't really needed.
yeah.
So what film did I feel like that with? What was that film, man? It had Denzel's son in it.
Oh,
and the AI thing.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Cool. But even after that film, like I didn't hate it, but I expected so much more. Because when I saw a film about AI, like I was thinking, oh, you lot actually have the perfect thing here to actually use this in a way where you can actually do something with it. And then when I see how they did it, I was like, this was just a bit of a letdown. Like,
yeah,
I was
the creator,
like
isn't it?
The creator.
Yeah, that's the one.
I was expecting like a more heavy AI kind of part in the film, but I didn't get that. And I was just, because one of my friends was like, "Nah, man, that film was dead." And I was like, did you find it dead because you was expecting more of an AI kind of thing in there? And he said, yeah. And I was like, see, I thought the same. I wouldn't say it was a dead film. I was just let down on what the film was sold as. I don't feel you really gave it to us. When you had the perfect example with a film and how you've premised the film, but then you kind of don't go fully into what the film's supposed to be about.
You know a film, right, that I went to go see, and I expected a little bit more, but only in terms of like a serial killer type vibe or something like that. Creative ways to die in a big space. You know the film Trap?
Oh,
You watch
I
Trap?
knew exactly what film you was gonna say.
Yeah. I like the thing is I like Trap, but there's those trailers made me think that man's gonna be in the stadium, in the arena, killing people. That and that's part of his
No,
like.
see,
It's almost
my
like the
thing
thrill.
with it was, I didn't necessarily think that, but I did feel we would get like a more backstory, and we would see how he kind of got to that role, and we would see like killings of what he's done, how they were discovered. So I was let down with how they did the film in that sense, because I was like, even that you had so much more you could have did with it, but you kind of sold yourself short.
Yeah.
But it was the black brother in there, the guy that said, "I'll get the extra t-shirts." Like I was like, "Nah, he was funny." Because at the end, where he's like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
nah,
You
yeah,
know,
nah,
I'm not talking to
that let me
nobody ever again.
down." Yeah, nah, that only let me down on the basis of I expected more than what we got from it. Because, like I say, the trailers set you up. Because I think I saw the trailers for that while I was in America, and I was like to my cousin, "Nah, I need to go see this film like when we get back." Because I was like, "Nah, it looks kind of cold." Because was that how I found out about Rob Peace?
Probably. Oh, Rob Peace, that's the one with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, so that one I think I see was like when I was in America. I see that kept popping up on the YouTube as like a thing. Even the Tyrese film 1994, which ironically didn't get released. Well, I say ironically, I didn't kind of expect it to get released over here based on what it was. Because even Rob Peace, for like a lot of cinemas, it was only in there like briefly.
Yeah. That 1994 though, the soundtrack to the soundtrack / album inspired by it is cold. Like,
Yeah, no, because when I saw that trailer, I was like, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Tyrese in the film Black and Blue.
Yeah,
it kind of gave me that kind of vibe, and I was thinking, like when Tyrese is in that kind of bag, I can actually kind of watch him. Not so much. I can't really watch the Fast and Furious type no more because I'm just like that film's taken me so beyond normal realms now. Like it's ridiculous. Cause I remember I went to watch Fast 10 like with my son's mum and dad. So we was in the cinema, and I think it was just before they got done, or he's back, or he's in the back of the truck, and I goes to her, if he puts a seatbelt on, I can't trust this film because I've seen this guy do so much crap through this like whole like thing they've got here, and I've never seen this guy put a seatbelt on. And then the one time he puts a seatbelt on, I was like, "No, this you don't just need to get out of here." My man chases you down, and this is the one time you decide to put a seatbelt on.
But then when he puts the seatbelt on, and you realize why he put the seatbelt on, you're like, okay,
No, but
yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It spun me back to the one in Brazil. Was it Fast and the Furious 5 or 6? Whichever one was in Brazil. And
it was number 5.
I think the first one with The Rock, and The Rock goes to Brazil and gets them, and they're in the back of the thing, and obviously they shoot. He's not in a seatbelt then, and I'm thinking, now you put it on. Yeah, now that film,
I get it.
That film was, it's so out. They went to space in a car. I'm just like, yeah, I don't. And obviously, I'm gonna go and watch the next one. In my head, I'm thinking, what am I gonna see in this one now?
Yeah,
like it's just such a mad series. Like
it's like you're almost too invested to kind of not see, even though you know that you're not gonna probably be happy with what you're seeing. But
no,
it's
but
like,
that's exactly what it is. I said to someone, I don't want to watch it, but I've invested so much time into the thing throughout my life. Like I need to see the story through now. And I just know, obviously, the next one comes out next year, and then obviously I think it's another 2 years till the final one comes out. Because what pissed me off was I didn't like. I see like articles, but I thought, no, let me not read them. Let me watch the film first. And as soon as I watched the film, I was like, no, how are you going to finish on the cliffhanger? I thought this was the last one, so I went back to read the article now, and then I see it was it's being done in 3 parts. I was like, you lot are really milking this for what it's worth. Like, this isn't even a 3-part closeout. They managed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to respect it to a certain degree. But do you know a couple films I did watch, which I thought were, these like Twisters was interesting because I remember the first one from like 95 or 95, 96.
See, I didn't go see that. I wanted to see it, but it was like one of those ones where I like the original in that sense. And again, timings with that one, it was just like, and And I was like, do I really want to kind of ruin what I had for the original? But like I said, I'm gonna end up watching it because, like I said, I've got films that come out of the cinema this year that I'm gonna go back and watch, like on other platforms that I just didn't get to go to the cinema for. But it's like, yeah, no, that one was one of them weird ones. It just didn't draw me to it.
Yeah.
So,
Do you know a film? All right, a film that's the film's dead, but it's almost so bad that you can watch it and be entertained. Borderlands. Have you seen that?
I've seen bits of it. That was on my list, but I was what peed me off of it was obviously when they kept referencing it in Deadpool, and I was like, I wish I kind of just saw the whole film through now. It was one of them ones where I was like, I was on it and I weren't, but like I say, I saw bits of it through other means. I just never finished it.
Yeah, like it's not a good film by any shakes, but there's enough where you can be like, no, this is mad, that you can just watch it and almost not worry too much about like what's going on. But it's not a cinema film. Even with your limiters card, you don't have to, like, it's not one of them ones.
Film did that for me where it wasn't. And again, it was one of those ones where I just went cinema off the bat. Like I think I was just in Wimbledon, and I thought, let me go to the cinema, and I watched the film Love Lies Bleeding with Kirsten Stewart.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I was watching it, and I was like, this film's a bit mad. Because I really didn't know what I was getting into. So I was like, I hadn't seen a trailer for it or anything. I literally just pulled up to the cinema, went in, watched it. But I wasn't mad. Like I wasn't disappointed, and I didn't think, I've wasted like time of my life here, like by watching it. Like I was like to people, it's not a great film, but again, for me, it's like imaginary. Like it's not one I would go out my way to say, you need to see it. But then I wouldn't discredit you if you said you're going to see it. Because for me, it actually wasn't a bad fit. Like the premise when the girl kept turning into a giant, that part kept spinning me. But I was just like, it is what it is. But yeah, no, that film was wild.
Yeah, no, Love Lies Bleeding, I did enjoy that. I can't lie. I thought that film was kind of cold. I didn't really understand that particular part, but it's mad because that girl, she's like a former like bodybuilder, just naturally.
Yeah, because when I saw it, I thought, no, let me look into it. And when I actually saw that, I thought, it kind of actually makes sense. But I think the premise of the whole film and obviously what it was, I was like, no, it was actually kind of, you done the film where you're not kind of promoting it, that kind of stuff, but you've kind of opened like
a door,
certain people kind of thing. Now, one film that did split opinions, like with a couple of my friends, was A Quiet Place. Day one. Obviously, I didn't realize at the time it was a remake, innit? But obviously, I'm watching it.
Nice, it's a prequel. It's the original.
Prequel,
sorry,
it's like, I didn't mind it. Like, I actually enjoyed the film. So when my friend goes, "No, it's dead compared to the other one," I was like, I didn't think it was that bad. Like,
no, compared to the original, it's not as good as the original, but it's still a good film. It's one of them ones.
Because I've not seen the original. I think that's where I was kind of thing. Whereas obviously he had seen the original, but I was like, nah, I enjoyed it.
Okay.
The film that I enjoyed is Abigail. That film I enjoyed. I didn't see the twist in that film.
Oh, what, the little girl, the vampire
little ballerina thing.
Yeah,
because I did not see that change come in. It's when they thing and the guy goes, "What if we kidnapped? I want out."
No, the thing is, I did know because I saw the trailer for that. So I
saw the trailer, but I didn't. Obviously, when the film started, I wasn't expecting Abigail to be that. Obviously, because when they showed one of the trailer I saw, they don't show her transforming into that. In it, you just see them. He starts shooting, and then obviously she's down, but it didn't show what her face looked like in the trailer that she had turned. And I was like, okay, that's kind of mad. So when I'm watching it and see it, I was like, oh. But no, for me, that film, that was a good film I saw this year.
Did you see Blink Twice?
Blink Twice.
The one with Channing Tatum?
No. That film, I wanted to watch it, but I was like, it was just giving me Epstein vibes. And I was just like, I don't know if I really want to sit for a film where it's thing, but I heard it was a good film, but it was like a mad little kind of plot twist in there.
Yeah, there is.
Like I was seeing it and I was just like, yeah, I just kept getting Epstein vibes, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to sit through a film that's giving me Epstein vibes.
No, I hear that. I hear that.
But then when I heard
But
bare people I see it said it was good, I was like, no, I kind of wish I actually went to see it now. But I think that was one of them films like I probably would have had to go with someone to watch it.
yeah,
Because like I say, normally I go by myself, but I just felt like when I saw that film, I thought that's probably one I think the very different role from Magic. That's the thing that's funny because at first I didn't realize it was Channing Tatum, and I'm like, hold up. And then obviously the whole premise of the film and the way that everyone was going on, I was thinking, oh, okay. But yeah, no, it just for some reason it just gave me Epstein vibes, and I just didn't know if I win that feeling when I'm watching the film.
I hear that, but you know,
weird.
when if you get a moment, like if you just find it somewhere or go, feel free.
I'm gonna do that because, like I say, everyone I know that watched it said, no, it was a good film, and like, but everyone was like, oh, the little plot twist in there, like. So that you lot have actually really got me wanting to watch it. But my other place that I get alternative films on, yeah, that weren't really showing me like good streaming quality.
Oh, well, fair enough. What did you think? I don't think we ever spoke about Alien Romulus. What did you think of that one?
So I thought it was decent, but here's the thing. The thing I liked more with that film, and again, it's not even the thing. I think it's the premise of they didn't use CGI in that way. Like everything was kind of created for the film. So for me, I think that just adds like a different dynamic feel for me. Because like a lot of films now, when you see the CGI thing, a lot of it is just overdone. Like there's some films I just think, oh, you lot have really kind of gone overdrive with it. Whereas I think when you get that kind of thing, and I think it kind of elevates the acting in a sense, obviously, because if you're going to be mashing something up, you kind of only have like the one kind of, or couple kind of takes to actually get it right, sort of thing. So like even like films in the 90s, I remember, I think I was watching something, I think it was on about Friday, and it was like, obviously, because it was on tape, like you kind of knew when you did something, you had to kind of get it right. Like, so it was no like now where you've got it like digitally where you can just go back and just re-record. Like back then, acting was we turn up, we gotta get it right in the takes that we have. So I think with that, for me, the thing I took more away from it was from the production side rather than the film side.
Okay, I hear that. I mean, older films this year like Immaculate. I almost forgot about that one. What was another film that was? Oh, Crow. I saw the remake of Crow. I thought that was cool. I thought that was an interesting remake. Don't know if I like it better than the original, but
I think that one threw a lot of people though as well. But then again, I think sometimes when you've got like a film that's remake, I think a lot of people, if you've seen the original, I do think you go in there with like a bias.
Yeah.
Like, because you kind of remember the original. So it's like even like Candyman, when they redid Candyman. Like, because in my head, Candyman had me shook as a kid, like the original, like the first one. The second one, not so much. The second one I'd watch like gladly, but the first one, I'll never forget. Like that one used to have me shook. Like the original Nightmare on Elm Street, like number one. That one had me shook. And then like things like Dream Warriors, he didn't seem so scary. But yeah, so with Crow, I think with that film in particular, I think a lot of people who did watch it, who've seen the original, I think a lot of them kind of went in it with that. So I think for that one, I did see more people like mixed reviews, but again, it was comparing it to the first. And I always say for me, I always tell people, if you're going to watch something and you've seen something, just go in there with a blank mind. Because when you start comparing, I think that's when you one take away from your experience of the actual film itself, and then two, you kind of don't look at it for what it is, which is what I think, like I say, with the Bob Marley film, I went in there with my own preconception before I'd even seen what it was. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm gonna, and then when I've watched it, I was like, I was a bit let down, like, because in my head I was thinking I had something in my head, and I didn't get what I wanted.
Yeah.
But then obviously when I've seen parts of it back, because I think I watched the second half of it back like a few weeks ago because it was on the Sky Movies channel. Although this actually ain't as bad as I thought, but again, I know why I had the feeling I had. So for me, like, I did what I told everyone not to do, like, which is kind of mad.
but isn't that us just in general? Like we can
Nah,
give
it
great
is.
advice, we
It
never
is.
take it ourselves.
Because you know what the weirdest thing is? Because like, obviously Bob Marley's manager, which is a mad story. Like the guy called Alan Skilco, like bearing in mind, like he was like he didn't like the film, like he was never going to see it. Because like I say, him being him, like obviously being Bob Marley's manager and friend, he was like he didn't like what they kind of did and how they was doing it. And like I say, I have a funny relationship with that guy because he's a former football player, in it. And my dad
Yeah.
being a Jamaican, like whenever the conversation of like greatest football players come with my dad's always like, oh, Alan Skilco. And I'm like, I never knew who this guy was. And then when I watched like one of the original Bob Marley documentaries, this guy popped up. So I was like to my dad, oh, what? So your favorite football player is Bob Marley's manager? Like, my dad goes, no, go back and do your history. Like, he was a proper like Jamaican football player beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, he was a football player, but I was like to my dad, there ain't no videos. The first thing I ever found about this guy when I searched him was man went to jail for weed, and I was just like, but I gotta respect it because you're from like you're Jamaican, but you've actually chosen the Jamaican as your greatest player of all time. But for me, my dial in for this guy is Bob Marley's manager.
No, I hear that. I'm trying to think what other, because I'm conscious of the time and I'm appreciating that you've come. I'm just trying to think, is there any other films that have come out this? So let's not talk about films that are coming out. Any other films that have come out this year you've watched that like you want to highlight to maybe anyone that hasn't seen it that you would recommend them to go see?
Speak No Evil.
I see it. That was a. You know what? That was a very slow film, but it was interesting.
You know, it was slow to kind of get going because I didn't. Obviously, when you see the trailer, it kind of don't paint the picture of how we got to what we see in the trailer. So then, obviously, when you're watching the film and then you kind of start piecing it together, it did then kind of start making me think. Again, white people in these kind of films just don't know. Just say no, big man. A black man's not gonna meet up with a random family. Say, oh yeah, we'll come down and we'll tell you yeah, but we know that yeah means no, we're not really.
Yeah, we ain't going.
So for them to all proper go on, but then like even like there were certain aspects like when he fed her the goose, wherever it was, and then
and even though she's like vegetarian and that, yeah,
and then where the kids were sleeping, there was like so many red flags for you to kind of get out, like leave. And then the daughter, being the dickhead that she is, even after they left, my teddy, and then we cut it up and then put it on the roof. So for me, that film was good. It just showed me how tapped my man was, though. Like he's fully tapped.
Yeah.
Like, but how he zones into them kind of role, I would love to know how. Because even like when you look at what's that one that he was in?
Split.
Split and the other ones. I'm just like, you really tap into this psycho mindset so good. Like, I wonder if he method acts when he's in these roles.
He must spend half of his paychecks on therapy after he's done with these roles. You can't live that kind of role and then just be okay.
Look, it's weird. I remember, I don't know if it was Lad Bible, one of them like YouTube channels, like they did like an interview thing with him. And then it was funny, innit? Because he's Scottish and he was like, he can't drink whiskey. Like, whiskey will mess him up. And I'm just looking at him thinking, bro, but like, but they didn't get to the question. But that's someone I think I'd love to sit down and actually like have like an interview with, because I would love to know how you dial in. And if you method act, how do those around you feel when you're dialed into one of them roles?
Yeah.
Because I would feel so unhinged being around someone like that. Because like I say, Split, that role was just mad unhinged. Like even Speak No Evil, like, yeah, no, he's one of them actors. I don't think he kind of gets the credit he deserves. But then again, if you talk about a typecast actor, I think he has those kind of roles where he plays that tapped individual, but he does it so well, it's kind of hard to see him as anything different.
Well, do you know what? You say that, but he doesn't actually play them as much as we think, because let's not forget James McAvoy was playing Professor X, Charles Xavier, in the X-Men films. Like, there's bare films where he's so different.
You know, he is. Now you say,
and don't forget, he was also in what's the one with the bendy, the like the Bendy Bullets,
Yeah,
with
because that's the one.
Angelina Jolie and that.
and Morgan Freeman, ironically.
Yeah.
Where he plays, they teach him to, and then because that film pissed me off, where she spins the car and he's in. I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
I forget what that one's called. But
Wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that film, yeah. But it's weird because then it's like I say, you say he's got them other roles, but the ones that I automatically dial into when I think of him
are those ones.
Unhinged ones.
Yeah.
Another film that I saw this year. If you've got kids, I'd say Paddington was a good watch. But then again, I'm more invested in that story because, like I say, my youngest is 2, and like every morning, I'm up having to watch that. So I'm more kind of dialed in. But like I say, I think what I liked about that film was you kind of see the origins of his thing, like where he's from, which is what the premise of the thing was. The thing that spun me in that film, though, is he's got pictures where he's standing outside a chicken shop, like eating chicken and chips. And then obviously in the film, obviously, when you kind of piece together, obviously, what they find, it basically takes him back to where he's originally from. And like, he's from like effectively a tribe. And then obviously they come over to like England, and then at the end in the credits, you've got them all standing up outside the chicken shop. I just thought, no, that's genius. Because when you think of London, chicken and chip shop is like, it's a staple thing. Because like even when I go like America and that, like, it don't have a you see chicken and chip shops, but it's not what we have like over here.
Yeah. Oh,
what's another good film that I see this year?
Furiosa. I thought Furiosa was a good film.
Yeah. Again, it's a child film, but I do feel it was one that again was kind of, I went into it with open mind, but obviously I think I with my children, obviously their mum. But Inside Out 2, for me, what that film kind of does, excellent.
Not
film.
as good. It's not as good as the first one, but it's cold. It's cold.
But I think the film in itself as a thing, I think it kind of shows you like different things, and I think certain people should kind of watch it because, like I say, it kind of lets you think, oh right, that person really could be kind of going through something. You don't really like know. Like I say, like my oldest son has autism, like my younger one's got ADHD. So obviously I see two things on two different spectrums from them.
Yeah.
So it's like, even like my oldest son, like, it's mad because like I could message him, my man won't respond to my message. Like I remember one time his grandma messaged him, he didn't respond. So obviously she spoke to his mum, like, oh, did he get my message? So she asked him, he's like, yeah. So she's like, why didn't you respond? He's like, oh, I will when I'm ready. Like, but obviously his grandma kind of knows that about him, innit? But if you don't know him and know how he is, like, it might come across as rude. Like, even when I took him to America, and the thing that spun me is that we're in the hotel room, but he's got like a video call on, but he doesn't want to be on the video call, so the phone's just sitting over there on charge. He's just roaming around the room. I was like, are you still on the phone? He was like, yeah. And I was like, quick question then, do you want to be on the phone? He was like, no, but they're over there, it's fine. I was like, how about you just hang up and tell them you'll talk to them when you're ready to talk to them? And he was like, oh, okay, that kind of makes. I was like, because in my head I'm thinking he would just literally leave it sitting there. So they're there over there making noise, and he's just doing his own thing. So for me, like watching Inside Out too, like it was like, oh, because I see it on two different things. So I was like, no, it's actually kind of, it's powerful in a way where I think, bro, like it kind of teaches you certain things like emotionally. And I thought, nah, for me, it weren't in my top films. Like I say, I do feel there was much better films to what is my kind of standard, or well, to my liking. But for me, it was definitely up there, like as one of the best films. And I think I pretty much said it to everyone. Like when everyone's asked me, I was like, no, I think it's like a must-see film. And obviously, if you got Disney Plus, it's on there, so you might as well make use of it. Because like I say, I don't think you'll leave it disappointed.
No, I hear that. Well, look, I'm gonna bring this one to a close in a moment. I want to appreciate you to come on. We definitely got to do more of these casual streams. We didn't even get to anything outside of films on this one. But yeah, any quick words you want to say before we bounce up?
Nah, man, just what I will say, at least if not this year, at least early next year, like we get like a load of us and probably just go cinema and see a film, or do it like once a few months, like with a film, like everyone kind of agrees to it and just have like a link up or something.
I'm down. I'm down for that, 100%. We'd have to. I guess we just have to decide which cinema or which ends. But yeah, cool. All right, man. Well, look, we're gonna chop it up in the background. I will be back with more boxing stuff later on. But appreciate you, and I'll speak to you in a bit.
Just a bit.
Bless. All right, I'm gonna go through the chat, go through a couple other questions and that, a few bits and pieces for another 5 minutes. So I'm gonna do the outro music, as you guys know. All right, let's see what. Thank you everyone who's actually been in the rocking with me. Thank you for Muller for joining in the chat. The next time we do this, or maybe next week or the week after, we'll definitely talk, I guess, more about maybe like Penguin and Gladiator 2. So Philip said the Penguin knows how to do an actual villain other than how Sony or Marvel do. I mean, you know what? The thing is, you say that, and I agree, it's good, but you have to bear in mind, because it's a series, isn't it? So there are other series that Marvel have done where they actually have good villains. It's just it's only the films that are a bit hit and miss here and there. North Bank was like Gangs of London is brutal. Yeah. I like Night Train out of the recent series I've watched. I'm gonna check that one out. That I think I remember hearing about it, but I'm gonna check that one. I haven't seen Red Ones. I heard it's no. Do you know what? It's not bad. It's a decent film. Like, it's not great, but it's decent. Like, you don't have to. If you don't want to go cinema to watch it or anything like that, you don't have to. But you can watch it. And to be honest, it's a film. It's actually made really for like Amazon and Prime and MGM Prime and all of that. It's only really in cinema just to sort of as like a trailer to actually when it hits the streaming platform. So, but it's nice. It's watchable. You know what I really didn't expect to enjoy, but did, is the Reacher series. Yeah, I remember the Jack Reacher, the original film. So that was a pretty decent one. I watched some of the series, but I don't think I saw all of it. Agreed on the creator. Okay, I hear that. Cars crashing through Dubai. Yeah, Fast and Furious. Philip, that the franchise has to end because it's gone on for too long. Borderlands is crap, 0 out of 10. He's like, thanks for clearing that up. Romulus is good, really enjoyed it. Crow was a good spin. I didn't think I'd enjoy. Yep. Yes, I've seen Smile 2. The first one was better, but the second one was a bit more cerebral. Although I don't like the way I understand how it ended the way it did, but it didn't really sit right with me. King's put Wanted in there. So shout out to you. Philip, he was it as well. Yep, that's very true. He was. What was the film? He said he read the script once and just free rolled. That might have been it. Although it wasn't. What's his name? Skarsgård was the guy that played the clown in it. I'm pretty sure. It actually wasn't bad. His kid went missing or something. I don't remember the film you're referring to, that guy, but if you do remember, please come back to the video. Just put it in the comments. Bad Boys Ride or Die. Yeah, you know, I had fun with that film. I had fun with that. I think anyone worth talking to had to have seen X-Men 97. And, like, yeah, that gave me that proper old school vibe. And I've actually, even though I know it's on Disney Plus, I've actually got the DVDs of those original X-Men series. I remember I bought them about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe a little bit, maybe 6. But I remember I went, I'm like, I have to get the series, and then they ended up putting it all on Disney Plus. But I was happy with that. That Migration was one of my fave ones. I took the kids to this year. Yes, the wife and the dad, Birds Back. I remember that. Yeah, Migration was actually, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, to be fair. I remember seeing Migration. That was a live film. Bad Boys Ride or Die was perfect way to end that franchise. It was, but something tells me that something else is going to happen, or they're going to spin it off to a new set of people. Sony though do turn some of their villains into anti-heroes. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's true. Bill Skarsgård, yeah, he played the clown in It, because Stellan is his brother, and I remember his dad is what's his dad's name? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah. But yeah, no, pretty cool in general. But yeah, the anti-heroes thing, because I guess Kraven's gonna end up being an anti-hero, but he'll be a villain in a Spider-Man film, and will probably do something the same way in like Venom. That's the point. I didn't speak about Venom, The Last Dance. The only thing I was gonna say about that film is that I'm interested that now that they've brought No into the universe. I want to see how that plays out moving forward. But yeah, every one of those Venom films, like, they've done enough where I'm like, all right, I don't hate you, but enough where I'm also like, you're ruining what Venom feels like to me. Like, I didn't really need to see him dancing with Mrs. Chen. Like that was a bit over the top for my liking. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. Thank you very much everyone for joining. Again, it was an hour later than usual, so this probably should have finished around 9. But everyone in the chat, thank you. I'm gonna record some episodes over the weekend since all the boxing is taking place on Friday. But I'm gonna do basis picks. I'm probably gonna do it when I finish this, and then release that tomorrow. But then after that, we're gonna drop some proper episodes for this channel back on Saturday, and then we have basis picks on Sunday. What's that?
Maybe I'ma make it, maybe I'm not. In time we'll see. But who better than me? I don't care if you agree. I ain't saying that I'm better than anyone. But who better than